Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video I'm going to show you how to change your front sway bar links on your 2011 Nissan Altima. And the ones on here aren't technically bad at this point, so I really can't show you an example of a bad one. However, they're kind of a knockoff house brand to a local auto parts, and I've already had to replace the one once already in a very short period of time. So we're going to upgrade to the Moog ones, see how they hold up. This is the ones we're going with here. I'm only going to show you one side because it's the same process on both sides. This one here, we're going to be doing the driver's side today, and that's the part number for the Moog one. It's the K750 784. If you're doing the right one, it's the K750783. And the only review I saw on these online was that they tend to rust on the Amazon reviews, so I went ahead and spray painted them with some high gloss spray paint. Totally optional, but it's just to keep them from rusting because apparently that's a common complaint. So we're going to sit that one aside because I'm not going to record that side since it's the same process. I'm going to do this one for you here. So we'll go ahead and get you set up on tripod here and get this cracking here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this wheel off. 21 millimeter on here. If you have locking lug nuts, make sure you find your lock for it before you get started. If you're doing this on the ground with hand tools, it's a good idea to crack this lug nut slightly loose while you still have some of the weight of the vehicle on the tire. Otherwise, it'll just spin. So noise alert. Alright, so the first step is, once you get it jacked up, supported, obviously, take the wheel off, set it aside. So I'm going to bring you in real quick for a closer observation here, so you can see something. And what we're looking for here is going to be these guys right here. So this is connects down here to your sway bar link right here. That's your sway bar. Bottom link connects there, top link connects to this little welded on bracket here that goes on the side of your strut. So we're going to go ahead and remove some of those fasteners on there. Now this is, like I said, an aftermarket one, so it doesn't have the original size nuts and everything, so this might be a bad video for reference if this is the ones that you're changing out or the factory ones, so keep that in mind. You might have different sizes on here. This is an aftermarket one already. Most of them have a slot behind here that you can put on the back, which gives you a place to put a backup wrench. There's also a place where you can put an Allen key in there and use a wrench to keep the inside. Because what happens when you go to loosen these, a lot of times what happens is the whole joint spins and then it doesn't come loose. So you have to hold a backup, either Allen key in here with a wrench, or you can go behind, and some of them have a flat spot where you can put a wrench or some vice grips on. Same thing with the bottom. So we'll go ahead and get you set back up here. So this is our first step here, so hold tight. Okay, hopefully I got you in a good view here. So I'm gonna try, just because I've had good luck at times doing this, I'm just gonna try to go ahead and zip these off without putting a backup on them. If it starts to spin, I'll put a backup on. The bottom one here is a little more challenging because you got to get it from behind. So if you see all this grease in here, that's nothing to be concerned about. This vehicle has been fluid filmed, so if you see all that, and before you comment, that's where all this grease under here is from. It's been fluid filmed. So let's just try to back this off. That's noise alert. So I think we actually got lucky where it came most of the way out and then it started spinning. So what I'll have to do is find out what size backup wrench that is. Frankly, I have no idea. So we'll find out here. It's not a 15. It's probably going to be the size that I don't have out here because it's typically how things roll. It's always the size you didn't bring with you. Let's see if a 17 fits. I can't see. It's not a 17. Definitely doesn't feel like a 19 or an 18. Let's see. Aha, it's a 19. Should do it. 19 backup on this particular one anyway. Come on, get on there. There we go. Easy peasy. So what I like to do is put the nut back on it like so. This way you don't lose them. It's still technically a good one, so I might keep it around as a spare. I also like to put a piece of tape on it on the top, because if you're not familiar with what you're doing here as far as knowing which side's the top, of course there's so much grease on here it ain't gonna stick, but anyway, that's the that way you can mark which side's the top, because they are different angles and stuff. So let me go ahead and figure out what I'm going to use to get to that back one back there. Hopefully it doesn't give me too much of an issue. Let's try to get up in here like so. Oh, I think I'm on tight in here. Beautiful. And hopefully, like I said, it will spin out without giving me any trouble. One thing you could also do too, if it's getting on your nerves like I'm doing here, you can always slide this back in, put the nut on a couple threads. It'll keep it from swinging all over the place on you when you're trying to loosen this. I'll mark this later which side's the top for my own reference. It's too greasy for the tape. Doesn't feel like the inside's spinning, so that's good. These use like a locking nut, so they tend to come off pretty hard the whole way. Yep, still on there pretty good. Let's see here. Come on. There we go. I think we got it. All right. Come on. Yeah. All right. That one wasn't too bad. So, because I've changed these before, that's probably the only reason I was able to get away with doing that without a backup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a nut on only the side that's the top, so that way, for reference, I can remember which side was the top. Because, like I said, they do have different shapes to them. So that way you can kind of lay out your new one in the same orientation as the old one. So, so that's the first step. So, and then we'll go ahead and continue on here in a couple minutes, and I'll bring you back here shortly. Okay, as you can see in another video that I'm creating in addition to this one, picking up on the sway bar link video, I put a new strut in here, a new quick strut. So that's why this looks different all of a sudden if you're only watching the sway bar link video for this. So let me grab a paper towel here. I got my sway bar link positioned in the right direction here. Just clean off some of the grease that I got on it. The reason why I chose these Moog ones is because they have the little service greasing zerts on them. They call these zerts, and well, I already put my grease gun in there and packed, and just add a little bit more grease to it. They'll probably last long, and they're also significantly thicker and bulkier and heavier than those off-brand ones. So let me take these nuts off here. Guess we can start with the bottom one, since that way it'll give us the ability to keep it from flapping around. We'll just slide it back in the controller, or I'm sorry, in the sway bar there. Grab that nut, spin it on. They also have a really nice, if you see here this flat spot, they have a really nice backup. Put a wrench. Sometimes even factory ones have crappy ones, and you can't put anything on there to back it up. And that's anybody that's changed these, especially in a Rust Belt where I'm at, mechanics and stuff, they'll tell you these things are a bear. They are a bear to change. So let me find out what size socket that is, and then we can go ahead and get that put back on. I'm going to assume it's possible there might still be an 18. I don't know yet. Oh good, they kept it the same. So we'll go ahead and see here. We're definitely going to have to use a backup on this. So let me find out fast here what size backup we're going to need. I'll just do this one where I can see it. Looks like we're going to need something smaller than the 19 that we used earlier. Let's see, 17 is too small, so it looks like the 18 is going to be a backup and the 18 for the socket. So let me go get a 18 and I'll be right back. Okay guys, we are back. I am going to pick up eventually, just a side note real quick on my 18. I want to pick up one of those real skinny versions of these that is an angled one. I think Astro has a nice one that I see South Main Auto, Eric from South Main Auto use. I'm going to pick one of those up because that way I could get in here and zoom. So anyway, so we got an 18 backup. We try to do this without getting in your view, but that might be a little difficult from where the camera is. We're going to do this left-handed. Let's get it on the back up there. And then we're just going to put that on there and noise alert. I think we're spinning here. Let me try to get on there better. I can't see is the problem. All right, good enough. Now you want it tight, but you don't want it ridiculous because you can pull the threads right out of it. So that's nice and tight now. Bottom one here, it's gonna be a little tricky. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get a socket on it. Let me see if an 18, I'm gonna try just because I'm lazy. I don't know if a shallow socket, actually a shallow socket will work, yes. So you get a shallow 18 here. And shallow just means it's not the extended deep socket. And I'm gonna see if I can get up here. I don't know how much I'm gonna get in your way, but the goal is to back this up here and to try to get in here with this without knocking you over in the process and do this. I don't know if this is gonna work. Might have to get creative here. Let me go over here. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. So impact isn't going to work. I have to get one of those other ones, those right angle ones. So I got a wrench here that's pushed against the axle. It's not hurting anything. It's being my helper as far as holding the back up the 18. So what I did was I went ahead and got it started just for the fact that I didn't want to record 15 minutes of me tightening this, but I'm just going to go ahead and finish it off so you guys can see. This is how you're gonna have to get at it. But yeah, I'm just using the axle as to hold the backup wrench. It's a long stud, so like I said, you want it tight, not ridiculous so you pull the threads off, but tight enough that it's not gonna make noise. Okay. Okay, good enough. Wiggle your wrench out. Okay, good, everything looks good. So, whew, hate doing stuff by hand. Anywho, so yeah, we've got that done. Now you can see that's in there nicely. It's nice and tight. And you can straighten your wheel back out here and check your work. Make sure these are in the right place. Everything looks good. Strut looks good. We've got your brake line clip over here put back in. I know these are tight. I know it's tight up top. I see no reason at this point to not go ahead and just put your wheel back on. A good time to check your brakes too. Let me take a look at them real quick. Grab that light. Oh yeah, lots of brake pad on there. Got those cross drilled. But yeah, that's what it looks like, all put back together. So like I said, if I'm gonna make this a 2 separate videos, like I was saying, one's gonna be for the sway bar link, one's gonna be for the struts. That's why halfway through this sway bar link video, you're all of a sudden gonna see this new quick strut there. But that's it. I appreciate you guys for watching. This will be the end of the portion of the sway bar link video. So please rate, comment, subscribe. Okay, so we're finishing up the video here. We're gonna go ahead and throw this wheel back on. Got everything torqued down. If you are concerned about torquing specs, let's say Google it. might be in your user manual too. I want to say, and I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this, I want to say the torque specs on these lug nuts are 83 foot-pounds, or pound-feet of torque if you want to say it properly. But don't quote me on that. That's only from watching another YouTube video. These Tiger Paw tires by Uniroyal, just a side note here, are not my favorite. So the only thing I could say is they do seem to last a long time, but man, are they noisy. They also seem to cup really quickly too. And I do keep them rotated, so it's not like I'm not properly maintaining them. I do keep them rotated, however, the proper way too. And what cup means is, what happens is if you run your hand across here, you'll notice that the edges of the tread are sticking up a little bit. And that cupping is what they refer to that as. It could be caused from worn suspension too. But I found that crappy tires do it quicker. I had these tires years ago on one of my dad's Grand Prix he had years ago. And the reason why I went with them is because they lasted him forever. But I didn't know he's hard of hearing. So I didn't know that these also make a ton of noise. So they're very noisy tires. But besides that, they do seem to last a long time. As far as like winter driving, they seem to last do pretty good with winter driving too. So let me go ahead and tighten these up. I said I will torque these later with I got my torque wrench over here. This is just to get it tight for now. I'm going to do this in a crisscross pattern like this, and then go to this one for an example, and then go to this one, go to this one, and up to this one. And I'll go back through and torque those later. But before you set your vehicle down, it's always a good idea to go like this at the sides, see if there's any play in any of your joints, like as far as your outer tie rod or inner tie rod. And then if you want to go like this checks to see if there's any play in the ball joint. But yeah, this side's done. Instead of not going to record the other side, I'm just going to zip through it. Same process, different part numbers. So no point in recording the same thing twice. So I hope this video helps somebody out. If it does, please give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe if you can. Any kind of subscription does help me. Really trying to grow this channel. Up to over 7,000 subscribers at this point. I really appreciate everybody that watches. It really does mean a lot. It makes me feel as though these little videos that I throw together on my own here as a DIYer that has a little bit more skill than maybe the average person does, perhaps, helps that person out. So if it does, share it and help me grow the channel. So thanks for watching, guys. See y'all soon.